everybody, so a new review for you guys today. We're talking about the upcoming sequel to The Shining, Dr. Sleep. This is a film that really had me intrigued as a Stephen King fan. I was curious to see how they're going to tackle this film as a sequel to The Shining, because Kubrick's The Shining really differs a lot in the many ways to the actual source material. So they have to find this happy balance between Kubrick's The Shining and the actual source material itself from Stephen King. And I feel like Mike Flanagan's one of those people that's up to the task, because I do feel like he's one of the best horror directors today. The Dr. Sleep takes place years after the events of The Shining, with a now adult Dan Torrance meeting this young girl with similar powers as him, and she tries to protect her from a cult known as True Knot, who prey on children with powers to remain immortal. Now, I've seen a lot of horror films and Stephen King adaptations, but I honestly feel like this is one of the best Stephen King adaptations to date. Maybe probably since The Green Mile. I know a couple people will probably say The Shawshank Redemption, because that is a great film, but a lot of people forget about The Green Mile, and that was 20 years ago. So probably my favorite Stephen King adaptation since The Green Mile. Mike Flanagan's signature style really shines through here, from its tone, the atmosphere built throughout, the way he elegantly moves the camera around in each scene. Mike Flanagan also wrote the film as well, and he really pulls you in from the very first scene, pretty much never letting go throughout the entire runtime with all its twists and turns. If you're a fan of Kubrick's Shining, there are a lot of really great nods to the film, almost perfectly creating these moments from it, which almost down to the very fine details. Really impressive. You can tell there was a lot of love and care put into making sure the details for The Shining and Dr. Sleep matched up. I actually just watched The Shining this morning, so it's like fresh in my mind seeing how certain things are really well done. The score in the film is also used very effectively, adding on to these really creepy atmospheric moments. The Newton brothers did a phenomenal job once again. They're a frequent collaborator with Mike Flanagan. I think they do pretty much the score in every single one of his projects, even The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. This is probably one of the more creepy adaptations of Stephen King's work, mainly because of the True Knot, led by Rebecca Ferguson, this kind of traveling cult that feeds off of people that shine. Rebecca Ferguson easily is one of my favorite performances of the whole film. She's just such a great actress. She's so captivating every time she's on screen. She steals every scene she's in, and ironically enough, pun intended, she really does kind of shine in this movie. I know, I'm sure I won't be the only person that says that. Ewan McGregor also did a phenomenal job as the adult Dan Torrance. His character goes through quite an evolution throughout the runtime, and by the time we get to the final evolution of his character, it's just really emotionally impactful, especially everything that comes in that third act. I mean, it was just so wonderful. And speaking of that third act, I won't go into spoilers, but I think the third act of this film is just bonkers crazy. Like, if you're a fan of the Kubrick Shining film, or just The Shining in general, I think you're going to be really amazed by what the stuff they pull off, if you haven't read the book, obviously. I'm almost certain there will be people that are detracted from trying to go out and see this film, because it is quite a long horror film. It's a little over 2.5 hours long. The original Shining was quite long as well, but it's a really good script. I feel like the pacing for this film is perfect for what it's trying to get across with its story and its message, and there's pretty much no downtime. I don't feel like there's a lot of filler at all. It's pretty much point A to point B to point C throughout the entire runtime, where there's really nothing as far as you could cut out to make it shorter and make it flow any differently. But yeah, overall, I really love Dr. Sleep. I think it's a really great horror film that you should definitely check out. Mike Flanagan, he pretty much doesn't make bad movies. Even Before I Wake is probably my least favorite of his, but it's still okay. I just think he's such a great filmmaker. He obviously has a really clear-cut vision, and he just brings his great spin to this film as well. I'm curious to see what general audience will think of this as the sequel to The Shining. Being the sequel to Kubrick's The Shining is some really big shoes to fill, and I think he filled them very well. I definitely recommend you check out The Shining before you see this, although you could go into this not seeing The Shining and get the general message of what Dr. Sleep is trying to portray, but you're not going to notice every single little fun little nod towards the original film and love it and appreciate it as much unless you see it. And they also flow really well together, because like I said, I watched The Shining before I went and saw the screening tonight, and they just are really great companion pieces together. They did a really great job with that. But now that you've heard my thoughts on Dr. Sleep, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section down below. What did you think of the film when you check it out? Did you like it? Did you not like it? And also, what is your favorite Stephen King adaptation? It could be any of the theatricals, or the stuff on Hulu now, or even the Netflix stuff. The dude's on every platform, it seems like these days. The dude has a lot of books. But let's get a discussion and go in the comments. You know I talk about all things movies here. But as always, thank you so much for checking out my review. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a like. Hit that subscribe button if you want to keep updated my reviews, channel reactions, unboxings, and more. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.